Yep, and looking at the defensive roster for G2, we got Taimu on the... You just did that, didn't you? Well, let's take a look at the SG-1 side instead, where we got Himsy on Zarya, Hawks on Reinhardt, Punpu on the Reaper, SG-1 Mafu on the McCree, Zappis on Lucio, and Kinnel on the Zenyatta.
Yeah, so a little bit of a switch up. We saw the European meta kind of gravitating away from Pharah, but when you have a player of Shadowburn's caliber and his Pharah play, that you can always run it, even without the Mercy that we're not seeing on either team.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see more fair play, although note that he's playing it pretty far back. He does not want to get sniped out by things. He's going to let them sort of deal with Pluppy and the front line before coming in to drop rockets as fair, and that's pretty smart.
So a lot of shots going off, and SG draws first blood with 2 kills, but in quick order, G2 answers with 3 kills of their own.
Yeah, no, SG-1 drawing some blood early on, catching some members of G2 a little bit off guard. The Zarya definitely doing a bit of work, helping to protect the Zenyatta, and truth be told, I like the Zarya-Zenyatta combo. It's one of the few ways in the game of sort of keeping a Zenyatta alive. That being said, G2 was able to sort of push in and make that fight their own.
Yeah, she did her best to try to keep Zenyatta alive there, but that's twice now we've seen teams against G2 lose their Zenyatta pretty early, and the Zenyatta being in pretty poor position. Zenyatta really has to utilize his range of his kind of global orb abilities.
Yep, taking a look at Mikey here. Mikey is able to fan the hammer, take out Lucio Pluppy with the Zenyatta pick, and really just a team effort. The triple DPS of G2 doing a lot of work here. Zarya is going to go down, and Shadowburn is being really effective here, Hex. He's not really opening a fight with spam that you usually see at Pharah. He's sort of waiting for the fight to be engaged, and then he comes in afterwards after people on the other team have already sort of chosen their initial targets.
Yeah, they're using him as a finisher, which I think is really smart. Now, right now, we've got Pluppy on Reaper overhead. They don't know he's there, and he's going to be looking for a very huge flank.
Yep. I'm gonna be honest, by the way, I really like watching Taimu play. His offensive nature and supports has been very effective. He does bring out the Transcendence. We see Pluppy in the backfield. Both teams sort of trading off kill fear, so this might be an opportunity for SG-1, but Taimu able to take out Lucio, and slowly but surely, G2 is picking them apart.
Yeah, SG-1 losing a couple supports really early there, which is tough for them, and the ultimate advantage is going to be on G2's side right now. Of course, SG-1 does have a couple of the ultimates own. They have a Transcendence up, they have a High Noon, and an Earth Shatter. So we could see an Earth Shatter into a High Noon or Deadeye combo, depending on what you feel like calling it. So that could be a good initiation. Now, they initiated really well in the first fight. We'll see them start this fight now.
Yeah, and take a look at Shadowburn. Shadowburn does have Barrage up. He's waiting in the back. There is a little bit of kill swapping, and oh, Mafu able to take out Shadowburn. So some nice McCree play coming up for him. And let's take a look at Himsy. Himsy, reasonably charged up as Zarya, gets the grounds on Surge, but here comes Pluppy diving out the Death Blossom, taking out not 1, not 2, but 3 players in a well-executed queue.
Yeah, really nice defense there. It got kind of scrappy there. There were only about 3 left on either side, where the Death Blossom really finishes that fight. And I really like what they're doing with Shadowburn. They're putting him up in these high ends, but the Transcendence offensively comes in.
Yep. And taking a look at Shadowburn. Shadowburn still has Barrage up. He died before he could use it in the last fight. I think we're going to see a Barrage any second here, Hex. Justice does rain from above. And Shadowburn and Pluppy again be able to mop up the remainder of the SG-1 team. So SG-1 having a little bit of trouble moving in. They have had some promising pushes, but they just haven't been able to mop up the last few kills needed to take the point.
Yeah, and I really like what they're doing on the Shadowburn here, or Shadowburn is doing on the Pharah here. He's in that 76 spot, kind of watching the flanks, making sure they don't come in through that backside, and then coming in late in fights to finish him. He's playing really patiently.
Did you see the sound barrier coming out for SG-1? SG-1 rushing the point, Punpu with a very quick pick of Mikey. Kinnel able to take out Burn, and this is really looking really good for SG-1. They have 3 kills thus far, 4 kills, and I think they're going to take point A.
Yeah, this is SG-1's best push, and I think G2 is going to have to fall back here. They do get cleaned up in the room, but there's no reason to try to contest this and waste some ultimates, and that is going to be first point taken by SG-1.
Yeah, so I want to say really big shout-outs right now, play-wise, to Mafu. Mafu has been on point with the very best McCrees this game, I feel like. His accuracy has been top-notch, and he has been catching even Shadowburn off guard at points on his Pharah. So really nice play coming up from Mafu, very on point, and they have to take him out from G2's perspective.
Yeah, he's been really patient. He's been holding that Deadeye for a while, too, and not any sort of panic ult. Again, Pluppy above the entire team, and they have no idea he's there.
Oh, and Death Blossom just came up. Pluppy getting ready for the flank. He's going to press Q. In comes that Death Blossom. 2 people go down. He does get taken up by Mafu. Again, Mafu with that good situational awareness, but the damage was done, and G2 is just going to be able to swarm over this.
Yeah, that's a lot of kills for G2, but they did get the cart about halfway through here, so that sets up their second push in a better position, but it looks like G2 is going to try to hold a little bit forward now. Shadowburn doing the shuriken spam, reflecting some stuff back. He's completely safe, of course, with his reflectability, and he's got the Genji Orb of Harmony healing him up there, so the forward position is not only pushing them back and slowing their aggression, but also giving them good eyes on where the aggression is going to be coming from, because they're coming from a different angle.
Yeah, this is a pretty sneaky angle that they're coming in from here. G2 is prepared for the Transcendence out, and the Transcendence is basically going to stuff a good part of this push in all likelihood. And Genji now getting the back, taking out Mafu, but he has to be careful. Mafu has been very on point. That is not an easy fight for Genji, but looking at the back line, Pluppy and Mikey doing so much work. A kill apiece as G2 is going to mop this up again. And really, SG-1 having just some issues breaking through this solid defense of G2 right now.
Yeah, and again, immediately they put Shadowburn up in this nook, doing some spam, getting his reflex off, but again, it's the information that he's providing his team of where they're coming from so that his team can set up a strong defense.
And take a look, the Shadow Blade is coming out, or Dragon Blade is coming out from Shadowburn. One person down, maybe he'll get the second, gets the second on Reinhardt. Just slicing and dicing everywhere. Winston's still alive, but perhaps not for long. Take shurikens to the head. Winston's down. Zarya's down. Pluppy and Shadowburn beating the Bash brothers and taking out the entirety of the SG-1 team.
And of course, they put Shadowburn right up there again, trying to slow this, attacking wave from SG-1. What I did like from SG-1 there is that even though the fight was lost about 4 down, the remaining 2 players, knowing that they were going to be picked off soon, did put some time on the card, did get a little bit of push going, and we have an aggressive push coming in to Winston initiating the fight.
So Pluppy right now versus Pumpu. Gets taken out by Pumpu. Nice stuff from him. That's going to prevent his team from getting Death Blossomed. That's pretty much what they need if they're going to get through here. Meanwhile, speaking of Death Blossom, Pumpu does have it, but it doesn't matter. He gets taken out by Shadowburn, and Shadowburn, again, on the prowl.
Yeah, what do you do here if you're SG-1? We see them switch onto a Roadhog. Do you think that's the right hero to switch to try to break this defense?
I think Roadhog is incredibly underrated against Genji. He's really, really good because even if you have the Discord Orb, if you eat a hook, you're probably going to die as Genji. I feel like Roadhog is one of those heroes that, along with really Zenyatta and some other stuff, yeah, he takes out Mikey, but now there's a Discord Orb on Genji. If he eats a hook, he is dead. Oh, he gets hooked! Is the prophecy going to be complete?
There you go.
It is.
Finished.
Yeah, Roadhog is great. Teams need to be using this more. It's a great counter to sort of the more oppressive Genji shenanigans.
Yeah, 2 down there. That's really really phenomenal switch up there, and that's a really smart play. I did not anticipate Roadhog coming out there. Really well done for them, but a lot of ultimates on both sides. We're going to see a huge skirmish.
The Earth Shatter is going to be really, really helpful here in combination with Death Blossom, but look at Mafu and Pumpu. They're turning it around. That is 4 kills for SG-1. They are not going to be deterred by that push from G2.
Yeah, Mafu looking to finish off the Zenyatta. Zenyatta retreating. He's got Mafu orbed, so you got to be a little careful, Kantua. He's going to wait for team support, and they clean up that Zenyatta as well, so it's even going to be a lopsided defense from G2 right now.
Yeah, and G2 a little bit on their heels. SG-1 with a very real possibility of completing the map. And again, the Roadhog switch up has done good work for them. Mafu has been on point as McCree. And G2 is a little more rattled here than I think they were expecting.
Yeah, Roadhog now has his ultimate up. It's not the most impactful ultimate, but it does create a lot of space. He's going to try to look for a flank to try to pop in. He's going to wait for this Transcendence, though.
Look at this. Pumpu and Mafu able to pick up a pair of kills. Pluppy on the defense, trying to sort of stem the tide here. Does kill the Roadhog. But really, they have to be careful. And Mafu takes out the Reinhardt. Shadowburn is in the back. Does bring out the Dragon Blade, slicing and dicing. And it does look like he's going to be successful in helping stem this SG-1 tide. But really nice back and forth from both teams.
Yeah, Shadowburn with 3 kills. I'd be interested to see if they start switching up their offensive composition even again here to try to take the high ground. And we see a 76 come out from them too. Some really good switch ups from SG-1. They're really understanding the flow of the game and changing compositions, not just trying the same thing over and over again. I'm really impressed with them right now.
Yeah, I mean, one thing though, both Lucios are about to have sound barriers, so this is going to be a wash. We're going to get beats dropped on both sides as SG-1 comes in. It's going to be decided by the ultimates aside from that. Pluppy did use Death Blossom in the last fight, but it doesn't matter because he almost has it up again. So a lot of ultimates about to be used here. Sound barriers for both teams. Death Blossom's going to be thrown out as well, and I don't even know who's going to win this fight.
Yeah, Mafu being extremely patient on his Deadeye. I think that's the one he's had the entire game. I don't remember him using it at all yet. A hook comes down on Numlocked.
Do you need Deadeye when you're just two-shying the entire team anyways? Both teams trading out kills here. Really back and forth, 3 for 3 right now. It is looking, though, with the sort of Zenyatta cleanup, that G2 is going to stem the tide once again.
Yeah, unfortunately, Genji got in the back line, and that's not unfortunate in itself, but both tanks turned around to try to deal with them, and the rest of G2 was able to reinforce in the back end and clean him up.
So otherwise, this is not looking the greatest for SG-1 here. Many defensive ults are up for G2, and they're going to need a miracle to get through this Hex.
Yeah, they have to stay on the card constantly now, but at least they kept the second point. They're doing pretty well considering the competition they're up against. Now, they're going to get cleaned up here, it looks like. Pluppy and Mikey doing some good work. The Transcendence comes off to try to seal this fight out. Only 2 alive from SG-1, and that is going to be a successful defense overall from G2, but SG-1 was able to capture 2 points.
Yeah, it definitely worked out for them. So Shadowburn with play the game. This is going to be the slicing, dicing, probably in the last point. And here it is. Oh, the styling reflect kill on the Zenyatta. Gotta love it. Or hate it if you're not a fan of Genji. But so good defense brought up by G2 at the end, but really, SG-1 made them work for it, and SG-1 showing some very distinct signs of life. I love the Roadhog switch up to help deal with the Genji, though. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of shows you the smarts that are going on in SG-1, right? They understand that, well, this isn't working, let's make a switch, and that switch paid off immediately. That was one of the better transitions I've seen a team make almost in all of Overwatch. That Roadhog paid off immediately. It dealt with the issue they were dealing with, and it was a really cool pick, really smart to see out of them, and they did pretty well on that map just because they didn't get it to completion. I think the fact that they got to the second point is huge for them.
Oh, very much so. So we're going to be moving on to the second side here. Is up now the G2 to complete the map. If they complete the map, they will be taking map 1 away from SG-1. But again, SG-1 has not made it easy on them. And really, they're going to have to deal with Mafu now when he's a defensive McCree. And McCree, I feel like, he's good on offense, but man, does he shine on defense.
Yeah, definitely stronger on defense. I'd almost be surprised if Shadowburn plays his Pharah against how well Mafu's been playing on his McCree. And yeah, we see right away, Shadowburn's not going to take to the friendly skies to get shot in the head by a Peacemaker. He's actually going to be playing Tracer, it looks like. So some different composition switches too. And defensively, we see the Symmetra coming out for SG-1.
Yeah, and sometimes we do see teams run Symmetra here. I'm not sure. I don't know if the run back on King's Row is enough to justify the teleporter. At times, teams have been sort of shying away from it, but I do think it can get value. It's hard to say. It's one of those like borderline things where maybe it's underrated, maybe not. It's hard to say, but if we do look at the rest of the SG-1 defense, we have Himsy on Roadhog again. They don't want to even deal with the potential of a Genji here, even though it doesn't look like one is being run. Zappis, of course, bringing up the Symmetra. Hawks on Reinhardt. Punpu on the Reaper. Mafu yet again on McCree, and Kinnel on Zenyatta. And Hex, I don't think we're going to see Mafu on anything but McCree in this entire series.
No, it seems like McCree players are pretty dedicated to the Cowboy. We don't see him switch up all too often. No, they're not running a Zenyatta on the G2 side, but they are running a Tracer, and those hooks can absolutely shut down a Tracer if you can hit them, if she is not traveling through time during your hook attempt. But G2 is actually off of Pharah, but they are going to run a Mercy now. So we've got a Mercy and Lucio, a Reinhardt, and then their frag classes are going to be Mikey on Soldier 76, a very good 76. Pluppy's going to play McCree. So a pretty offensive team right now.
We're getting some of the old school stuff with Mercy Lucio. I love it.
Yeah, it's just odd to not have a Pharah with him too. So we'll see what the Mercy's primary target ends up being.
Personally, I'm curious to see what Shadowburn does here. What value is Shadowburn going to get here? He is going in the McCree early on, but man, let me tell you, you have to be careful as Tracer versus McCree. If you have Flashbang or a Flashbang, you will die. And look at this, Shadowburn doing his best to try and outplay, but no, he dies to fan the hammer. So, it was a good attempt, but Tracer going down to the DPS of McCree.
Yeah, and we'll see if the Symmetra gets her teleporter up. There are some sentry turrets that are going to deter the team. That whole left room is kind of locked down with sentries, and this is a pretty decent hold so far.
Yeah, I like the Roadhog again. Oh, and he pulls out the Lucio. Will they get the kill? Lucio's getting killed by the turret. Yes, they do get the kill. So Roadhog right now being very instrumental on this defense.
Yeah, he gets
nice stuff from MZ. Oh no! Reinhardt went for the charge. He didn't get pinned. The hook hit him right before the pin.
Nice.
That was great.
So they forced the resurrection, but again, another 3 deaths quickly after the res. A pretty strong defense. The only one really up and causing pressure is Numluck, but he gets taken out in the back line, and that's a successful hold.
Man, I love seeing Roadhog, man. This is great. I'm so happy right now.
Yeah, Tracer trying to pulse bomb him, actually. That's how big of a problem he is. But Tracer gets taken out by the Zenyatta in the backlines. The teleporter is up now. They're going to be able to reinforce. And that house is still completely locked down by Symmetra.
You know, I was saying about SG-1 spending some time in the lab and leveling up. I think they definitely spent some time in the lab and leveled up because they definitely look stronger than the team I saw about a week and a half ago.
Right, now the Roadhog ultimate is up, and it's a great defensive ultimate. If they happen to push the point, not only does his ultimate do a ton of damage, but it repositions the team so effectively.
Yep, taking a look at Reinhardt here. Numlock trying to make his way in. He does have Earth Shatter up. Charge not as effective as he would have hoped there. And here comes the defensive Zenyatta ult. And will that be enough for SG-1 to push G2 back yet again?
Defensive Zenyatta ult comes down. Also, the High Noon finally coming out from Hafu. A couple of huge kills. I don't know
we
if
have
the
a
kills there.
We do have a Mercy Res, though, and there it is. Mercy Res comes up for the G2 there. Will that be enough for them to take the point? Mafu is still laying down tons of damage to Zakri. Finally, he goes down. Shadowburn getting the pick off, and yes, G2 is going to take point A. I think they're taking this a little bit quicker than SG-1 was able to take it, but man, SG-1 is making them work a lot harder for this than I think they would like.
Yeah, we're going to have to check with administration on the time for cap 2 as well, though, because getting that second cap I thought was crucial for SG-1, because the first point is really difficult to defend wholly, so the fact they were able to get through these alleys eventually and actually cap that second point was enormous for them. No composition changes as of yet, but we see a lot of focus coming down on that Roadhog. They know that's the problem. And speaking of, the Roadhog and the Reaper are above the opposing team, and Reaper has Death Blossom ready.
Yep, down goes Tracer. Tracer getting killed by Roadhog, and again, I mean, you have to be careful of the Hog. If you get hooked by Hog, you're usually going to die. And whoa, look at this! Speed boosted whole Hog, but he gets stunned immediately out. I like the idea behind it, but not quite as effective as he's probably hoping.
Yeah, they did end up kind of wasting a Death Blossom there too. The ruse was up when Tracer did find them upstairs, but they decided to go through with the plan anyway. A huge charge by Numlock.
Yeah, and Pluppy, having enough of Mafu stuff, takes him out. McCree versus McCree. We're having an old-fashioned Wild West battle here. And really, I do feel like Mafu is sort of the person to kill on the SG-1 team. He's been so effective. If they take him out, I feel like the offense of G2 has a lot more room to maneuver.
Right, they've got all their ultimates up, and I think if they take this point in the next minute or so, that they have won the map.
Very, very likely, given
I'm not sure on the
time.
times, but this pace seems much faster than what G2 or SG-1 was able to put up. Yeah, and they know it too. That's why they do the preemptive Deadeye, just to kind of clear space out. But SG-1 coming in, and they're trying to stop this.
They're trying to stop this.
Yeah, they're asking
Is that
if that's
GG?
because they did get the point. I'm pretty certain it is.
I'm pretty certain it is, but I don't want to be the one to say it. Gotta let the teams play.
I think they're just going to play it out, and it would be definitive if G2 is able to take this final point, for sure.
Yep. So, taking a look at it, Reinhardt has the Earth Shatter charged up. If Numlock can get a little bit of value off that. Look at all the ults up right now for SG-1, though. SG-1 has all the tools they need to defend this.
Yeah, they're still kind of asking in chat if that's GG, but I mean, my assumption is yes. I'm going to let them play it out.
Yep. And look at that. SG-1 dropping the ultimates is able to wipe out the rest of the G2 team. So, yeah, they're agreeing that it's GG. I mean, it most certainly is. I just err on the side of caution, really.
I try to never type in chats in games just because, yeah.
Well, from a player perspective, the last person I want to hear from is a caster. Honestly, the casters are best when they're invisible. I love checking out the cast later as a player, but man, in-game, caster, you're just supposed to be a ghost.
Yep, there's a reason they call it spectator slots. We are only spectating. So a pretty good showing from SG-1, though, to be honest. G2 has looked really good in the last couple tournaments. They look really strong. SG-1 put up a pretty formidable showing against them, and definitely a better showing than Disco did. So anyone's game on map 2. That was a lot closer than I think a lot of people anticipated. And SG-1 showing some impressive game knowledge and switching up the compositions.